In the quiet human colony of New Horizon, a young technician named Elian Cruz sat alone by the riverside. He watched the silver water flow slowly under the twin moons. The wind touched his face softly, but his heart felt heavy. Best friend Dan. Maybe something more. Lin had left the colony 5 months ago. Ray had always talked about joining the diplomatic corps. She dreamed of seeing other worlds, of helping people. When the chance came, she left with a hopeful smile and a long hug. Elian had stayed behind. He had work to do. He maintained the satellite array that kept the colony connected to the stars. He told Ray he was happy for her. He lied. Now every evening, Elian returned to the river. It's where he and Ray used to talk about life and space and silly things. Without her, even the stars felt cold. He had tried to message her once. He wrote, "I miss you," then deleted it. What if she didn't feel the same? What if she was already making new friends on some bright, faraway world? The pain wasn't anger, it was silence. A sudden boom shook the air. The river trembled. Birds flew out of trees. Elian stood quickly, his heart pounding. The emergency siren screamed from the colony tower. An automated voice shouted, "This is not a drill. Tyrant attack detected. All colonists proceed to the shelters immediately." Tyrants. The empire that had been threatening human space for months. Everyone said it wouldn't happen, that Earth's peace talks would work. They were wrong. In the underground shelter, Elian sat with dozens of others. Children cried. Parents whispered fear. The ground above shook with each explosion. A woman in the corner sobbed quietly. Are they doing this? We didn't do anything to them? No one had an answer. Elian's datapad buzzed. A system-wide news flash had just been sent from Earth Command. It read, "Multiple colonies attacked. Civilian casualties confirmed. Emergency status across all outer systems. Earth is preparing a full response." He felt the weight of the words. Earth had been trying to avoid war, but this was different. He thought of Ray. She was on a diplomatic station in neutral space. Was she safe? Did she even know New Horizon had been hit? He wanted to message her. He typed, "Ray, they hit us. I'm okay. Are you safe?" He hesitated, then pressed send. 3 days passed. The colony survived. The Tyrants didn't destroy everything, they just wanted to scare people, to show dominance. But in doing that, they had made a mistake. People weren't broken, they were angry. Elian stood with others as they rebuilt what was lost. Engineers restored power. Doctors worked without sleep. Volunteers came from other towns. Nobody ran. Nobody gave up, and Elian saw something in their eyes, something strong and quiet. Humanity wasn't going to hide. They were going to answer. That evening, as the sun set in a burned orange sky, Elian got a reply. Ray's message blinked on his pad. "Elian, I just heard. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I miss you too, so much. Are you really okay?" He smiled for the first time in days. Not because everything was fine, it wasn't, but because he wasn't alone. He replied, "I'm okay now. Seeing your message made it better. We'll talk more, right?" To talk. "I want us to be close again." Ray's answer came quickly. "Always. No matter where I am, you're still home." That night, Elian stood beneath the stars again. His eyes were tired, but his heart was full. The Tyrants had thought they were attacking just another colony. But what they had really done was remind humans what they stood for. Love, unity, and the will to protect their own. Ray Lin sat in a quiet hallway aboard Unity Station. Far from Earth, far from the people she once laughed with. The station orbited a neutral moon near the edge of the core worlds. Diplomats, scientists, and leaders from many species walked its shining halls. But Ray felt alone. She stared at the stars through a wide window, her hands holding a mug of cold tea. She hadn't eaten in hours, since the moment she heard about the Tyrant attack on New Horizon. Her thoughts had gone only one way to Elian. He had messaged her after the attack. He said he was okay, but okay was just a word. Was he really safe? Was he smiling again? Was he thinking about her, like she thought about him every night? She wanted to call, to video him, but something stopped her. Maybe fear, Maybe guilt. She had left after all, left him behind on that small colony world. She had followed her dream, but had it taken her away from something more important? Unity Station news screen flashed red. Another emergency update. Ray leaned forward to read, Tyrant forces have struck 6 more human colonies. Thousands displaced. Earth mobilizing full defense protocol. First Fleet Assembly confirmed. Room around her fell into silence. Even alien officials, cold-blooded or four-eyed, stopped moving. Fear filled the air. One Kalari diplomat whispered. They actually woke the humans. Another alien, a long-faced archiver, muttered, Then the Tyrants have already lost. Ray turned away from the screen and walked through the corridor, trying to clear her head. Her badge blinked. She had a new assignment. A low-priority delegation to the neutral Polari? She didn't want to go. Not now. Not while her people were hurting. Not while Aelion was so far. But duty said she had to serve. In the small meeting room, she greeted the Polari ambassador. He was kind, with soft eyes and a slow voice. But his words struck something deep inside her. I do not wish to offend, Raylan, he said gently, but I feel your people are different now. Even your voice carries weight. Before, humans were friendly, curious. Now, I see something else. Something strong, something dangerous. Ray nodded slowly. They attacked us. Civilians, children. We tried to avoid war. But now Earth is preparing. The ambassador leaned back. And what about you? She hesitated. What do you mean? He smiled kindly. You seem far away? Not just from Earth, but from someone. Personal. Her eyes stung. She looked away. Someone I care about. I left him behind. He sent me a message after the attack. I didn't know what to say. I still don't. Say something, the ambassador said softly, before war makes the chance vanish. That night, Ray sat in her small room and looked again at Elion's message. I'm okay now. Seeing your message made it better. We'll talk more, right? I want to talk. I want us to be close again. She had read it 100 times. Now, she finally replied. I miss you, Elion. I don't want the distance anymore. After this mission, I'm requesting transfer. I want to come home, if there's still a place for me near you. She pressed send. Her heart beat faster. This was hope. A week passed. Ray watched as Earth's fleets moved. Old ships once in museums were reforged. New weapons were built. The galaxy whispered, but humans said nothing. They just prepared, no shouting, no threats, just the steady hum of unity. Of something unstoppable, and Ray felt it too deep inside. Her, that same fire, that same power. She wasn't just a diplomat. She was a daughter of Earth, a friend, a fighter, a person who had something to protect. Then Elian replied, There's always a place for you. Come home, Ray. I'll be waiting. The distance between them still hurt, but now it felt smaller, because love, like Earth, was patient, and when pushed, it didn't crumble. It stood up. It held on, it answered. Elian Cruz was no longer just a technician. He now wore the dark gray uniform of the United Earth Defense Corps. His hands were covered in grease and engine oil, and his days were filled with pressure and noise. After the attack on New Horizon, Elion volunteered to serve. He didn't want revenge. He just couldn't sit still anymore. Ray's message had given him strength. She said she wanted to come home. She missed him. That gave Elian something to hold on to. But they were still far apart. She was still out there, somewhere in the stars, and Elian didn't know how to close the gap between them. His new job was to help maintain a fleet of stealth warships at Earth's moon base. These ships were part of something Earth called Wave 1. The commanders didn't talk much, but every mechanic knew what was coming. Not a full war, not yet, just a message. A quiet one. Elian heard whispers. We're not striking cities. We're not bombing civilians. We're going after the Tyrant's pride. Late one night, Elian stood on the launch deck and watched the first stealth ships rise into space. They were black, silent, almost invisible. They carried no giant weapons, just small, precise tools. They were headed to a Tyran fortress world, a place no one had ever dared attack, and they weren't going to destroy it. They were going to shut it down. 2 days later, the galaxy gasped. A Tyran communications hub, one that managed 10 systems, went dark. No deaths, no blood, no explosions, just silence. Then another outpost went offline, then a military fuel station, then a data relay. Each target was left intact but powerless. Whoever was doing it wasn't trying to conquer. They were sending a message. We can reach you. We are watching. We are not helpless. Back on Unity Station, Raylin watched the news reports. She felt both awe and fear. The Tyrans were confused, angry. They sent out patrols, but found nothing. The other alien species didn't speak it out loud, but Ray could see it in their eyes. Humanity had changed. They weren't the quiet ones anymore. They weren't just the clever diplomats or kind explorers. They were something new, something steady, something determined. She opened her communicator, heart pounding. Ray, Elian, are you part of it? This wave one thing, Elian after a pause. I can't say much. But yeah, I'm working on the ships. I see them launch. Ray, we're not trying to start a war. We're just saying we're not afraid. Ray, I wish I could see you. Feels like we're both flying in different skies. Elian, we are, but I believe we'll land in the same place again. Leon's nights were long. He worked double shifts. He missed Ray's voice, her laugh, the way she used to nudge him when he over-explained things. But every time he helped prep a ship, he thought of her. He wasn't just fighting for Earth. He was fighting for the world they could still share. One night, during a rare break, Elian sat alone and looked out at the Earth. It glowed in the dark, so small, so beautiful. A captain walked by and paused. Beside him, you got someone waiting for you? The captain asked. Elian nodded. She's out there. It's on a station near the core. The captain smiled. Then hold on. That's what this is all for. We're not just answering violence. We're answering for the ones we miss. The next day, Elian found a new message from Ray. Ray, I've officially been reassigned. Be heading back to Earth in 1 week. I told the council I wanted to help from home. Help where my heart is. Elian felt tears build behind his eyes. Not of sadness, of something stronger. Something bright, far above them. Another Tyran base, lost power. No weapons fired, no soldiers hurt. It's just another quiet message. Clear as day, we don't want war, but we're not running either. And somewhere in the middle of it all, two hearts far apart, slowly came closer again. Asterisk Raylin stood at the shuttle dock of Unity Station, small bag over her shoulder and her heart pounding in her chest. She was going home. But why did she still feel so far from Elian? The reassignment had gone through. The Human Council approved her request. She would now serve as a civilian liaison on Earth, helping refugees from the attacked colonies. It was good work, important work, but it wasn't what pulled her. So strongly it was him, the boy she had once sat beside on a riverbank. It's the one who fixed old tech with a smile and quietly listened when she spoke about stars and dreams. Now, he was helping build ships for the war effort. He had changed. She had to. But did they still belong in each other's lives? Could love stay alive across so much silence and space? She didn't know, but she hoped. The shuttle lifted off quietly. Ray looked out the small window. Unity Station grew smaller behind her. Stars stretched like threads. In her hand, she held a small recording chip. It was something she made last night. Something from her heart. She didn't send it. Not yet. It was her voice saying, Elian, I'm scared. Not of war. Not of the Tyrans. I'm scared I waited too long to come back. That maybe we lost something we didn't even know we had.
How?
She stopped the recording there. She didn't know how to end it. Meanwhile, Elian stood beside a half-ripped hull on the moon base. His body ached from long shifts, but it was his. The heart that felt heavier. He hadn't heard from Ray since she told him she was coming home. That was 5 days ago, and her transfer got delayed. Maybe she changed her mind. Maybe he was hoping too much. He looked up at the massive warship before him. Its hull shimmered in black and silver. It was ready for the stars, ready to deliver Earth's silent warning. But all Elian wanted was a message. A word. Something real. The next morning, Ray's shuttle approached Earth's orbit. A sudden alert came over the speakers. "Attention all passengers, please remain calm. Tyran fleet detected near outer edge of Sol system. Defense forces mobilizing." Panic filled the shuttle. People looked at each other in fear. Would they be attacked in open space? But just as quickly, another voice came on. Tyran fleet turned away. No engagement. Earth fleets held line. No threat detected. Everyone sighed with relief, except Ray. She stared out the window, her hand pressed to the glass. She had never felt more human, so small, so fragile, and yet not weak. She whispered softly, "You held the line. Of course you did." Later on Earth, she stepped off the shuttle and felt wind on her face for the first time in months. Real wind, real air. The stars felt far now, but Elian didn't. Still, she didn't call him right away. Something inside her held back. Doubt, fear. She didn't know what to say. That evening, she sat on a bench outside the Earth Defense HQ. The sun was setting in warm colors. In her hand, she still held the chip with her message. A voice broke the silence. "Ray." She looked up, and there he was. Elia. He wore his gray uniform. His hair was messy, his face tired. But his eyes, those kind, quiet eyes, were the same. Neither of them moved at first. Then Ray stood. Slowly, "I didn't know if I should call," she said. "I wasn't sure what we were anymore." Leon stepped closer. "Wasn't sure either. But when I heard your shuttle landed, I had to come." Ray's voice shook. "Do we still belong in the same story, Elian?" He smiled gently. "If we don't, then I want to write a new one." Together, stepped into his arms. In the distant months of silence, space, war, and wondering finally melted. Later that night, as they sat on a hilltop watching Earth's ships launch silently into the stars, Ray whispered, "We're small, but we keep standing up. We keep loving. That's what makes us human." Elian nodded. "That's what makes us strong." They didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But tonight they had found each other again. That was enough. That was hope. The days on Earth passed quickly, too quickly. Raylin now worked at the Earth Refugee Coordination Center, a busy building filled with voices, tears, and tired faces. People from colonies destroyed by the Tyrans came through every day, offered comfort, helped them find new homes. She had never felt more needed. And yet something inside her was beginning to feel far again. Elian, he was still on the moon base. Their meeting on the hill had been perfect but brief. Since then, they had only shared short messages, sometimes just thinking of you or hope you're okay. They hadn't seen each other in nearly 2 weeks. Work kept pulling them in different directions, the slow drift between them. One night, Ray sat at her desk, looking at a holophoto. It was from 2 years ago. She and Elian sitting by the river on New Horizon, feet in the water, laughing like nothing could ever go wrong. She whispered, "Why? Does love feel harder after war begins?" Her communicator blinked. A message from Elian. "Working late tonight. Test flights all week. But I miss you. Wish I could see you." She stared at it. She wanted to say more than "me too." To fade again, but she didn't. Instead, she typed, "I understand. Just stay safe up there." Then she shut off the screen. Up on the moon base, Elian sat inside a maintenance bay, wiping sweat from his face. The test flights were intense. Earth's new generation of stealth ships required perfect balance and precision. He was proud of the work, but something was missing. He missed Ray's laugh, her warmth, the way she asked questions nobody else did. He looked at her last message. Short, careful. It didn't sound like her. He knew that feeling. The quiet space growing between two people who still cared, but didn't know what to say anymore. Elian sighed. "I'm losing her again," he said softly. Later that night, he walked outside the base's shield dome and looked at Earth glowing like a blue jewel, He pulled out a recorder and whispered, "Ray, I don't want this distance. I don't care how busy we are. I need to hear your voice again. I need us to not give up." He hesitated, then sent the recording. Back on Earth, Ray listened to the message in her bed. She closed her eyes and let his voice sink in. Her heart hurt, but not in a bad way. It was the kind of ache that reminded her. He still felt it too. Opened her communicator, started recording Ilian. "I'm here, still holding on, still wanting us. I've just been afraid of saying the wrong thing, but I'd rather say something imperfect than stay silent. Let's not let duty be the reason we drift again." She sent it before she could second-guess herself. The next day, something unexpected happened. Ray's supervisor called her in. "There's a transport leaving for the moon base," the woman said. "They need someone to help coordinate evac routes for colonies near that sector. I think you're the right person for the job." Ray blinked. "The moon base?" "Yes. Can you be ready to leave in 24 hours? "Yes. Yes, I can." When Ilian received the news, he didn't believe it at first. But then he saw the incoming crew list. Ray Lin, civilian liaison. Earth Refugee Coordination. He smiled for the first time in days. Not just because she was coming, but because maybe, just maybe, the universe was giving them another chance. Hours later, the transport landed. Ray stepped off, tired but hopeful. She looked around the wide landing bay. Then she saw him, Ilian, grease-stained, exhausted, but smiling. They walked toward each other slowly. No rush, no panic. Just two people who had come a long way and still wanted the same thing. "I didn't know if you'd come," Ilian said quietly. Ray nodded. They stood together, watching the earth above them. The war wasn't over. Their jobs weren't easy. But for now, they were closer again, and that was enough. Asterisk Ray stepped onto the cold metal floor of the moon base's command center. The hum of machines and blinking lights filled the room. For a moment, everything felt strange, so different. From Earth and the quiet of New Horizon, Ilian stood near a large holomap of the solar system. He looked up and smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Long flight?" he asked softly. Ray shook her head. "No, I'm just nervous." Nodded, understanding. The space between them had not only been miles, but months of silence and uncertainty. They had wanted to reconnect, but neither knew how. The days passed quickly. Ray threw herself into work helping plan evacuations, coordinating supplies, and meeting commanders. But every time she looked at Ilian, she saw the same distance she felt inside herself. They talked about work, about missions, about reports. But when the conversation shifted to them, the words stumbled and fell apart. One evening, Ray found Ilian alone by a window looking out into space. "Mind if I join you?" she asked. He gestured to the seat beside him. "Please." They sat. Quietly, Ray took a deep breath. "Lion, I want to fix this." Ilian looked at her, eyes tired but hopeful. "Me too. But how? Maybe it's not about fixing all at once. Maybe it's about building slowly, like Earth itself, steady, strong, no matter the storms." Ray reached out and took his hand. "Then let's build." That night they shared stories from there, time apart. Ray told Ilian about the people she met on Earth, how brave and kind they were despite everything. Ilian told her about the crew on the moon base, how determined they were to protect Earth and its colonies. They laughed softly. The first real laughter in weeks' work was hard. Long hours, tense meetings. But slowly, Ray and Ilian found moments between the chaos. A shared cup of coffee, a quick smile across the hall, a message sent just to say, "I'm thinking of you." It was small, but it was enough. One day, an urgent alert rang through the base. The Tyrants had launched a surprise attack near a distant colony. Ilian and Ray prepared immediately. They would coordinate relief efforts together as they suited up. Ray looked at Ilian. "No matter what happens out there, I want you to. No, you're not alone." Ilian squeezed her hand. "Neither are you." The mission was difficult. They worked through exhaustion and fear. But their teamwork was strong. When the dust settled, We make a good team. Elian nodded. The best. Later, in a rare moment of peace, Ray recorded a message for Elian. You don't have to be perfect. Neither do I. We just have to keep trying. That's what makes us human. Makes us strong. Together, we can face anything. She sent it with hope. Elian listened to her message during a quiet shift. He smiled, feeling closer to her than ever before. He whispered, We are stronger than distance, stronger than war. We are human. The Tyrant fleet was bigger than anyone had expected. Elian stood on the bridge of the Earth's flagship, staring at the blinking radar that showed hundreds of enemy ships approaching. The hum of the control panels filled the silent tension. Beside him, Ray adjusted the coordinates on the tactical map. Her hands trembled just a little. We're ready, she said quietly. Elian nodded. We have to be. The last time they had seen each other was barely a week ago. But the war felt like it was pulling them apart, a game duty pulling them different ways. Ray's voice broke the silence. Lian, I know this is hard, but I want you to know, no matter what happens, I'm here. We'll get through this. Together. Elian took a deep breath and looked at her. I'm scared, not of the Tyrants, but of losing you again. Ray reached out and took his hand. You won't. Yeah? The battle began with flashes of light and bursts of energy. Ships darted like angry fireflies in the dark space. Elian and Ray worked side by side, his voice calm over the comms, her hands steady on the controls. They were fighting not just for Earth, but for everyone who had suffered because of this war. For the colonies that still hoped for peace. Amid the chaos, Lian caught a glimpse of Ray's face, determined, brave. The person he loved. A sudden explosion rocked the flagship. Alarm screamed, We've lost the left flank, pilot shouted. Elian's heart raced, but he stayed focused. Divert power to shields. Keep the formation tight. Ray's fingers flew over the controls. I'm with you. As the battle raged on, they heard a strange silence on the enemy comms. Elian smiled grimly. They're panicking. Ray nodded. They thought they could break us, but they forgot humans don't back down. The flagship fired a final powerful blast. The Tyrant fleet began to scatter, retreating into the dark void. Cheers erupted. In the control room. But Elian and Ray stayed close, knowing the fight was far from over. Later, in the quiet after the storm, they found a moment alone. Ray looked up at the stars through the viewport. We survived, but I want more than survival. I want to live. To be with you. Elian smiled softly. Me too. He took her hand and held it tightly. No more distance, he whispered. That night, Ray sent a message to Earth and to Elian's. Personal come. Distance is a test. But love is our answer. We fight, we protect, we connect. Together, we are unstoppable. We're human. Lian listened to her message as he stared at the stars beyond the ship. He whispered, no matter the war, no matter the distance, hope will always bring us back. Asterisk, the battle was over. The Tyrant fleet had been broken, their power crushed by the unity and strength of humanity. But for Elian and Ray, the war was not just about ships or stars. It was about something more. It was about the distance that had stretched between them. On the final day of the campaign, Earth broadcast a message to the galaxy. We fought not to conquer, but to protect. We fought with heart, hope, and humanity. This is our promise. Peace, justice, and respect. Elian stood on the deck of the flagship, looking out at Earth rising over the horizon of space. His communicator buzzed softly. A message from Ray. Coming home, this time for good. He smiled, his heart swelling. Ray stepped onto Earth's soil for the first time in months. The air was fresh, the sky wide and endless. But all she wanted was to see one face Elian's. They met where it all began by the riverside on New Horizon, now a rebuilt and thriving colony. Elian was already there, waiting. His hands were rough from work, but his smile was gentle. Ray ran to him without hesitation. They embraced, holding each other tightly. I was scared we'd lose this, Ray whispered. Elian kissed her forehead. Distance tested us, but it never broke us. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us strong. They sat by the river, watching the stars come alive in the night sky. Elian took Ray's hand. No matter what the galaxy throws at us, we'll face it. Together. Ray smiled. Together. As Earth's fleet stood guard in the stars, Elian and Ray found their peace. The war had shown the galaxy humanity's fury and its heart. And now it was time to rebuild.